On today's video, Kingdom 455 is about to light up in fire. Well, it already did as the civil war rages on in there. One alliance is migrating in more farms to reinforce their defense, reinforce the rallies. The other one is just doing everything they can to not allow the fortress to build. But boy, oh boy, this fight lasted for a very long time. There was a lot of conflicts in the story as to what happened in here. So much more to talk about, so sit back, smash a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. As Kingdom 455 has or had or still going on a civil war, a mad civil war. We're gonna look through a little bit of the madness that went on a couple days ago. Before we start though, I'm a sponsored content creator by Kingdom. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to slap a like on this video, and of course hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell to get a notification, hit the all button, and of course 64% of you are not subscribed yet. I know what you're waiting for. Join the Gekko Gaming community, hit that subscribe button, and let's go. So 455 went into a slight civil war. By the looks of it, this is Koreans against the world again. I've asked 4 different people who've replied to me from this kingdom what happened, and I've heard 4 different stories. Usually when I ask what happened, more often than not, I tend to get at least a somewhat of a common ground that all the stories touch. This time, everybody had a different reasoning. So this is 455V, 5.1 billion power alliance, and that's the alliance in green. And they're going up against 455N of almost 9.5 billion power, kind of much bigger. By the looks of it, my understanding from the little bits that I've heard was that some folks migrated into 455 for this. This might be like a little bit of an invasion thing, maybe not. Like, I understood that some people that were defending this fort migrated in some weaker farms and came into the alliance so that they can help hold the building and all sorts of madness. But the bottom line here is the folks in green wanted to drop a fortress that will now be aligned right next to a flag that is adjacent to the Lost Temple in Kingdom 455. Currently, the team in orange, the alliance in orange, are the ones who hold the temple. By the looks of it, green won a challenge for it, and so they started building a fortress. Now this fortress took probably like 20-30 rallies. It was non-stop fighting for the longest time around this fortress. It would be a rally, and then a counter rally on the rally would come out, and then a bunch of open field fights. We'll switch to non-simplified graphics momentarily. Folks got burned and zeroed in the meantime while fighting on the field. The king at some point of this kingdom, which is sitting right up there, you're seeing him right next to where my buffs are. That player right there is the king in the orange territory. At some point, he got rallied while there was a rally going on onto the freaking the fortress, and there was a counter rally in the fortress. Things got mad. Things got really heated for a little bit now. Now, to tell you the truth, I did not peek back to see what's going on with 455 beyond the first like 24 hours worth of fights. At some point, I can tell you that this fortress did end up eventually building. It got very close to being destroyed a couple of times, and a lot of Atel Takeda rallies and Atel Takeda open fields and swarms and counter rallies and zeroing rallies. A lot of things happened here, and it's just a nice little fun thing to watch, I guess. Civil wars aren't necessarily the most fun thing on earth. As you're watching here, 455V are both defending from the rally as well as counter rallying the rally with a Guan Yu Alexander rally of their own. Very effective counter rally against the Atel Takeda, especially in this kind of a situation with YSS defending the fortress. That Atel Takeda was having very bad times. Now, I managed to get a hold of one report, and one report only, unfortunately, and so we're going to show it momentarily in this video as well. But the reality here is very simple. At the end of the day, 2 alliances want to duke it out for potentially holding on to the kingdom. These are things that happen very often. Misunderstandings, misalignments, and disagreements between leadership within a kingdom is a very common thing that happens. It can happen for multiple reasons, such as mightiest governor issues, such as lack of agreement in the way a kingdom needs to be run, such as potentially blaming shift blaming, better said, each other on different reasons why the kingdom failed in certain events, such as KVK, Osiris League, so forth and so on. This time around, I think this is more like a invasion than anything else. I mean, this dude was getting rallied and sending resources at the same time, which was actually hilarious. My running assumption was that he was ready to burn but didn't want to give out resources, so he gave away the resources real quick and was okay with burning. Here's one report of a massive loss by 455V. 1 million troops dead, 1 million troops severely wounded, 14 million power drop to the 6 million of 455N. So 455N, with their Attila Takeda rallies, were doing very, very good. They were doing everything they needed to do correctly in order to inflict as much damage as humanly possible to these folks, right? There was, I believe, not all the rallies were just like this one. I'm fairly confident that some rallies didn't work out as well for the folks in 455N. And as you can see, someone from 455N sent me this report. So yeah, these guys just went at it. And at some point I was like, ooh, let's turn off simplified graphics and enjoy ourselves a little bit of a better viewage of what went down here. And that was about that. That's the Civil War as a whole. But we got still a little bit of action ahead of us, as there is a lot of open field fights. And this is very weird. It's the first time I actually see a fight where there is an open field presence near the rally, near the target. There's a target being rallied, and the open field is not even involved in the target's situation almost at all directly, but rather they're involved indirectly in the situation by essentially fighting in the open field. I've not seen in a very long time either side not owning the open field before rallies get launched or not. More often than not, rallies being launched is a result of the attacking team having the open field presence to sustain the rally and to let it fight and for it to do what it needs to do. But in this case, I mean, they were rallying. Nobody cared about that rally. YSS was doing good, except for the one report that we saw that was doing terribly bad. The defense was doing all right, but the fights on the open field were just nuts. They were absolutely nuts. And this went on for hours. This went on for hours and hours and hours of open field fighting. I mean, the fortress built. The whole time the fortress was building, these guys were going at it. So at the 4 or 5 hours worth of fortress build, at least, give or take, and that's if the fortress is full all the time. Remember, when the fight is going down, troops are dying, the troops inside the building are consistently changing. Remember that also affects the building rate of the fort. As a matter of fact, when you're building a building and it's getting rallied while building, one of the toughest things is that you got to try to maintain it especially full at any moment and not let it go down even a little bit, because when it goes down, if you allow your building of 1.5 million, for example, troops to go down to 900K for a little bit, and then you bring it up to 1,200 to 1.2 mil, and it goes down to 1.1 mil, and then goes up to 1.35 mil, for example. During all of that time of fluctuating, all the spots of troops that are not in the building at that said moment are not building. And so it will take the building longer to build. So a quick small tip before we head out in this small, short Civil War madness that's going on here. Remember to always keep your buildings full if you're building. If the flag is built and it goes down from 1.5 mil troops to 1 mil and you keep it at 1.1, 1.2 the whole time, it'll hurt you. You definitely have space for more reinforcements, but nothing happens if you'll pay more essentially. In here, you're not only paying more, you're also taking longer for the fort to build. And if this is a 5-6 hour ordeal, every rally can add an extra minute or an extra half a minute worth of time for the build, which would mean after 3, 4, 5 10 rallies, let's say, you get an extra 1 rally that can be sent on this building as a result of that delay. So you want to try to do everything you can to keep the building full. And I would say that when something's building, a flag, a fortress, or anything like that, taking out the rally as quickly as possible is actually more beneficial. You really want to make sure that you can stick 1.5 million troops clean as much time as possible without having to worry about the little bit of spaces left that are open. So with this being said, we see a counter rally hitting the rally and a Teltakeda counter rally on the rally hitting the fortress. I don't know if you're paying attention to it. There is a ton of marches everywhere. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to spectate. Let's see how this winds up and turns out at the end. And good luck to the folks of 455. Any of you want to give me more information, comments, anything like that, comment down below and let us know. And of course, I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. I appreciate you all very much for checking out the video, dropping a like on it, subscribing to the channel, and being an awesome community. We're working on a lot of new things for you guys, Rise of Kingdoms and not Rise of Kingdoms as well. So make sure you have that notification on. You're in our Discord to get the latest and greatest, because we're gonna take off a little bit in terms of the things we're doing in here. We're taking it to the next level, chat. I'll see you all sooner rather than later. Enjoy the rest of your week/weekend, whatever time you're watching this, and have a good one. Peace.